Okay, so this is the first video in the series covering RHS in perspective. Um, you will have already taken photographs of the campus in perspective. We went out on campus one day and took photographs of all kind of elements of art. One of those things I wanted you to do is take a picture of perspective. We're probably going to have gone back out a second time, so you'll have all kind of images to choose from at this point. So to start this assignment, I want you to open your document and set it up very specifically like this. So we're going to go to File, New. We're going to go to a print. You won't have selected this yet, so hit print and then tabloid. Switch from points to inches. You'll notice it's 11 by 17. Um, make the orientation horizontal. Add an artboard, so we have two. Make the bleed 0.125 and enter. So this is what it should look like when you open it up, although I don't know why that doesn't have bleeds, but this one does. So you should have your bleed lines up as well. Okay, then you're going to go to File and Place, and you're going to select the image that you want to use for your assignment. I brought in both of my images because I want to talk about them, but I'm only going to use one to work with. So just bring in your favorite image from the photos that you took. So I've already done that, so I'm going to zoom in over here on the right hand side. I want to talk real quick about perspective really quick. So you have to be able to identify perspective. These two photos, one is 2-point perspective and one is mostly 1-point perspective. And so I just want to show you kind of how to identify that while you're selecting your images. If I take my pen tool and, oh, actually before we do that, I do want you to set up 2 layers, not 3, 2 layers. There we go. One layer is going to be your guideline and photograph layer, and the other layer is going to be your drawing shapes layer. So as this is our artwork and this is our underlying artwork, we could relabel those if we wanted to. It's not really necessary. So right now I'm going to be working on my guidelines layer, but I'll talk about that more in a minute. So with my pen tool, I just want to show you where these orthographic lines go to and how to identify where the horizon line is and where the vanishing points are, which is the next step. So just to identify whether this is in 1 or 2-point perspective, I'm going to just draw a line here. I'm going to make sure this line is red right now. So I'm going to draw from this corner, and I'm just going to go back quite a ways here and follow the top edge of that building. Okay, and you can see if I hit enter that my line is right there. I'm going to do the same thing with another edge. So I have to do a couple edges. And hit enter, and you can see that these two lines crisscross here at some point. I'm going to follow this sidewalk crack here because it is also parallel to those two edges. So I'm going to follow that back, and it should be similar in that they should crisscross somewhere right around the same spot. If they're not perfect, it's because my lines are off by a little bit. So I'm going to come back here, hit enter. So these aren't exact. So I can move these lines. Also, this one's probably a little off here, and this one's probably pretty close. So now you can see those lines are all kind of converging right about the same spot here. That's what we would call the vanishing point. So if I follow the edge of this building back to that same spot, all of these lines should converge on this vanishing point here. At that point, I'm going to bring down a guideline right here and put it right where those lines converge. That's where the horizon line is, so that's my eye level. As I stand here, my eyes, this is an elevated door, so my eyes come up to right about here. So basically, we want to know what kind of perspective this is. This is 1 point. Now, we also have lines going off to this side, so I'll just draw a couple of these in place. Use the pen tool. So starting here, working my way back, trying to get that line right on the edge, go to the vanishing point, sorry, to the horizon line here, hit enter, and I'll follow this sidewalk here. We'll just follow the same one we did up here, and you can see that those lines do in fact follow right along those edges and do go to one vanishing point. So we do see perspective in reality. Our eye sees 2-point perspective. On this photograph here, it also would see 1-point perspective. So I don't have any lines going to the left side here. Really, I only have lines going to the right side. So in this drawing here, if I get the pen tool and I start up here in the top left corner, work my way down, following that edge again, along that edge there, and then just pick another spot maybe that I know is parallel to that edge. So I'm going to go from this bottom corner here to, I didn't go out far enough with my original line. So I'm going to move over and I'm going to follow that bottom edge, hit enter. Now switching to my A tool, I need to move this out a little farther. Okay, so there's my horizon line for that image right there. And you can see, look at that, the horizon line crosses right through the heads of each one of these people in the photograph, which means that makes sense. Their eye level is at the horizon line, and all of the lines will basically go to this one vanishing point right here. Okay, so you do need to be able to identify your vanishing point, where they are, whether you have one or two, your horizon line, and your orthotic lines. I want you to draw in all the orthotic lines that you can, and they should all be crisscrossing at one spot, which is where your vanishing point is. So I'll come back with my example of that, and then show you how to submit that part of the assignment, and then you're going to start recreating the photograph, and I'll show you how to start doing that in another video.